Hi, and thank you for watching TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris. I'm your host tonight. The opinions of those on the call are that of their own and not necessarily those of DJ Chris or Targeted West. This is show number 114. It's the 26th of May, 2024. And tonight we have some special guests to help try to fight this B2K that we're getting in our heads that this call is about. One of the features of the Cyber Shield is that it does reduce that. So we'll be talking about that and other topics. Tonight we have Daniel and Jax, and they're both Cyber Shield owners. They own more than one, and they'll be discussing that in detail. So without further ado, come on in. Hello, how are you?
Hello, DJ Chris. It's so nice to be on your show. I haven't been on for a while, and I want to thank you for hosting this program.
And yeah, it's very nice
Welcome.
to be here.
I'm glad. And Daniel, thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. I had the privilege of knowing Jax and privilege of talking to you, and I'm really grateful to be here. And obviously, we'll be talking about the Cyber Shield and our backgrounds and stuff and why we use it and how it helps.
Very good.
I have a question before we get started talking. I usually can see all the participants in the Hollywood Squares, and on the
go to gallery mode under view.
Under view.
Right side bottom screen, see view. Click on view and then go into gallery mode.
I am not seeing view.
Next to preferences.
Oh, hold on. View. Okay, hold on. View. Okay, I'll try. I usually don't have this problem. I've never had this. So go to view.
Seems to be you're cutting out a little bit.
I don't know what the heck.
There you are. You're normal again.
Yeah, you're back to normal.
Who, me?
Yes, we're probably being sabotaged. You have one of the defense contractors near you that probably doesn't want us talking about this.
Oh, he likes to get on and criticize my appearance and tell everyone how ugly I am. That's what he does. He wants to make me ugly. He talks about how ugly I am, and he will post things about, like, Jax put on so much mascara, she looks crazy. He'll say anything. You know, that's just his game.
Interesting. So,
a doctor at Kaiser.
That's crazy. Both of you have the Cyber Shield, and you've been experiencing using it for a while now?
Yeah, we both have it. I have 3 Cyber Shields, and Jax has 2 Cyber Shields. I even have a prototype, so I technically have like 3.5. We both use it. I myself use it for my symptoms that I've had, including symptoms of like various parts of my body. It really helps make it easier to move and be kind of a part of the world again, and it lets you be more of yourself, in my opinion. What would you say, Jax?
Yeah, it gives you a lot less harassment, assaults. For me, that's what it does. A lot less assaults. I'm still kind of. I'm wondering if I log out, DJ Chris, and come back in, if I can see my video, because I came in on your link, and this is it's problematic. I don't know why I can't see.
The regular link. It's the link that's part of the regular call. It shouldn't be problematic. But if you want to log out and log back in, you can.
Well, I can't see the camera. I can't see myself. I can't see you. I see you only. Only you. You're the only one I see on the screen. Is there a setting?
Let me log back in, log out, and I'll just talk for a minute, and then you can just come back in and come back out.
Okay.
So everyone, I'm Daniel. I'm a licensed social worker. I bought the Cyber Shield because I had some pretty severe symptoms. I have V2K. I have pretty severe attacks. I mean, yeah, I pretty much have all the symptoms you can imagine, plus more. And I now own 3 Cyber Shields, believe it or not. The first Cyber Shield helped me so much. I literally remember going to work without it, and I couldn't work. I was so overwhelmed. And then I brought the Cyber Shield so I can work again. It really helped me. And I just came here tonight to kind of like talk about it a little bit with Jax and have a conversation. But I have some things to go over here that I think will be really interesting for you guys to hear. So it built up a firewall after about a year, which protects you when you're outside, which is what Jax experienced. And it's kind of similar to like a binaural beat, but definitely much more effective. So if you ever experienced or used a binaural beat, it can really help you. So it can send out different waves at different wavelengths. So it can send out theta, gamma, alpha, beta, delta, all those types of waves that have to do with different frequencies. And I mean, I've seen it before. Like, it really does send out a wave. It's a very safe wave. It can't cause you any harm, even though it's based on radio frequencies. It's non-ionizing, and it's also very low wattage. So it kind of creates a very low magnetic field. So you're talking like, it's even weaker than I would say a Wi-Fi box, believe it or not, in terms of power. But the reason why it works is because of the clashing. So I literally measured the Cyber Shield and I measured a Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi that everyone uses in the world is technically sending out more higher power frequencies than the Cyber Shield, but the Cyber Shield is just much more protective. And yeah, it definitely can do a lot of things. It can help improve relationships. So it can help you like feel a little bit closer to your people in your lives, because it helps you with your emotions a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier to express yourself, I think, and it helps with sleep. You know, it's there's a lot of things going on. It can even it can even help with sleep, which is really important, and your mindset. And I also want to talk about the creator for a little bit, David Rubel.
Daniel?
Yeah.
Can we talk first about who you are, where you're from, your credentials?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, definitely. Let's do it.
Yeah. Just basically, I wanted to ask you, where are you located? You know, what you do for a living, your credentials. I know you have a master's, so could you talk about that with us first?
Oh, sure. Well, I have 2 master's degrees. I have one from New York University and another from Yeshiva University. I got them in about the span of 3 years, even while targeted, so that was crazy. I mean, imagine being targeted and having to get 2 master's degrees. And I got honors in both programs, so I graduated Phi Alpha in my master's program, and I had like a 3.85 GPA even while targeted. So imagine like the worst of the worst things where you're doing homework, and luckily being able to get it done. So that was a blessing. But yeah, I'm a licensed social worker. I took the tests and I passed even with targeting. So again, imagine getting really horrible symptoms while you're taking a test. And believe it or not, I literally had every countermeasure you can imagine in the test site, including the Cyber Shield. So that was pretty funny. I like walked in with the Cyber Shield, left it right outside of the test room, and I was able to take the test. So I guess
Wow.
You could say I got pretty lucky. I mean, I'll be honest, with other Cyber Shields, I wouldn't have been able to pass that test. It's probably the entire reason I was able to study, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows that, including like everyone. So, the Cyber Shield has been a blessing, and it saved my life.
Okay, Daniel, how long have you had your first Cyber Shield?
I got it about a year and a few months ago. I got it in March of 2023. Yeah.
Okay, and when did you make why did you make that decision to buy it? Was there something that was said?
Yeah. I think it was just I talked to someone named Amy from a different state, and she mentioned all the countermeasures, and that was one of them that came up. And then I talked to David Rubel, and he pretty much liked me and said he wanted me to help participate in the research on it. So I ended up getting it and working with him on it.
Okay, then when did you make the decision to buy the second Cyber Shield, and why did you make that decision?
Well, I knew that the first Cyber Shield was helping me a lot, and I figured a second one would help me protect me even more, just because it seems to, the amount of amplifiers inside of it matters and antennas matter. So I figured it would be beneficial to try it, and it really helped, and it's also a good backup. It's a pretty powerful product, and just like anything, it has an engine. So, something bad can happen to the engine. So I occasionally, just in case, want to have something as backup.
Yeah. Why did you? Now, I think you're the one and only person that has 3. Even David Rubel does not have 3 Cyber Shields, and I wanted you to elaborate about why you bought that third Cyber Shield.
Oh yeah, well, I actually worked pretty. I really wanted the protection, and I've had. I actually literally need 2 Cyber Shields sometimes to calm down my symptoms. I've done a lot of experimenting, thanks to David Rubel's approval, with making my own modes, and I just find that whether it's one machine or 2 machines, you can do so much with it. And I just bought it just as backup because, I'm probably I probably use it the most out of everyone. I pretty much always have a Cyber Shield on me, even in the most unusual circumstances. So I definitely have grown used to having it on me like a third wheel again. So
aren't you? Go ahead.
No, I just like being protected.
Yeah, of course, it works. That's the whole, the entirety is the symptoms drop drastically when you have a Cyber Shield. Just one in your environment, just one. They drop drastically. And that was something that I wanted to tell everybody too, that you don't need to have 3. It's a choice. It's if you're like Daniel and you feel that your life depends on it, you get 3. I have 2 because I wanted a backup in case one broke. It works so darn well. And so then when I finally got my second Cyber Shield, I turned them on simultaneously and discovered that I can have one set on like a primary what we call normal module, then turn it up on a low primary, which is for physical symptoms. Then I'll turn the other one on to high primaries on quad heterodyne and turn it up on high, and that eliminates the noise in the background. All that crap they play with, airplanes and birds and ridiculous noise, it all drops off when I have on the high primaries. So that's why I like 2 now. I prefer to have 2. And I wanted to get a third one. And the reason I didn't get a third one is because I was advised by the Blue Sky that there may be a prototype in the works or something, and maybe I should wait because the Cyber Shield might change, and I'll want the other prototype because I think you're involved in that, aren't you, Daniel?
Oh yeah, I technically designed the prototype. It's a wearable prototype that you can use on your body to help protect your nerves, and it's very powerful. It can do what RTMS can do, but in a different way. It can apply a constant signal to a brain region, and if you know what you're doing, it can stimulate your brain and either activate it or deactivate the neurons in that area where you're pointing it. But for people like me who, I know a lot about neurology, but you can't always pinpoint something easily on yourself. It really helps on the hands and the feet and the neck. Luckily Blue Sky is willing to work on that, and we're waiting for that, and that'll allow you to have an additional form of protection, including with the Cyber Shield. So another exciting thing we're developing is a steering wheel, which will allow you to move the signal of the Cyber Shield around your brain by using a little meter or a potentiometer. It'll allow you to literally move the signal in the air, because by using a changing current on another device, and it'll allow you to literally move the signal around your brain just by adjusting this little meter. So we're working on that.
When do you think that will be ready?
Well, when Blue Sky is healthier and he's satisfied with with the next steps, we could probably get it done in a few months, but we're kind of waiting on him. I mean, both David Rubel and Blue Sky are more than capable of making it, but right now we're just, we're not. I think we're just trying to find more people to buy the Cyber Shield and spread the protection.
Yeah. Okay. Did you say that you feel that you're noticing that you're getting a buildup, like a progressive protection in your brain from using the Cyber Shield? Like I have noticed it, and I'm wondering if you have.
Well, it definitely helps heal your body, and it definitely changes the brain. I mean, just so you guys know, even when you listen to binaural beats, if you feel better, it's a sign of neuroplasticity. So it's like your brain is like changing. Yeah. So, the Cyber Shield, I mean, I've tried, like, you can go to a doctor and get any form of treatment, like with regular medicine, but the Cyber Shield is one of the few things that I feel like, it's like actually really, it counters it. Like, it counters your symptoms and lets you heal. So, yeah, it's really effective.
I wanted to, go ahead. Go ahead, Daniel. I didn't know you were still talking.
No, but Jack, no, go on.
Well, I did want to interject that I was the first person in the United States who purchased the Cyber Shield from David, and he was doing an interview one night on one of the conference calls, and I heard him, and I ended up PayPaling the money to him that evening, and because I prayed about it, but it was a very strong, response to go ahead and get it, and I've never looked back. I've never regretted buying it. And it does have a progressive protection that I can go now. I can leave my house and go to the store, and I don't get attacked. They can't. They try, but they cannot do it. It's progressive.
Yeah, it really does heal you. I mean, it can't protect against everything. Like, there's always a weakness to everything, but it by far is it's like the web that it spreads out is like much. It has a very elaborate web. It covers. It does. I mean, we're trying to eventually like have it spread, like create a protective, net around. I mean, like really protect everything, but it protects a lot of things. But yeah, it's definitely very. It's like literally having a shield.
I just read DJ Chris. He said I use disco to vibrate my brain. That actually worked. Go if you want to say something, DJ Chris.
It works for me.
Well, that's what the Cyber Shield does. It actually blocks.
Does it have disco mode?
I think Daniel's working on that.
Good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of things, but I mean, it's also just so you guys should know, again, it's non-ionizing, meaning even though it sends out a radio frequency, it can cause no damage. I mean, you would need about, easily 10,000 times more power to cause damage with non-ionizing radiation, which obviously other things can cause, but you're talking about it would have to be like 100 times or 1,000 times bigger to cause damage, those kind of things cause damage in a weird way. They kind of, but yeah, no, the Cyber Shield is. I mean, it can't harm you in any way. It's like it literally like pretty similar to other devices in your house. The only thing is how it works is it's definitely like it's. I mean, it's not something that'll hurt you, obviously. Again.
Yeah. It does block the frequencies that they try to shoot at us, but I can tell you that sometimes when we're in need of an update, like sometimes David, he might be a little busy and doesn't do an update, as soon as we would like for him to. But, you know, he's not an indentured servant. I want to defend David because, you know, he can't be at my beck and call. And he's just not. But when he gets an update, it provides so much relief. But sometimes we are like sitting there going, wow, we're getting hit. Where's David? Can we get an update? Da, da, da. We get kind of nervous. But, you know, that just helps me to appreciate David even more, if you know what I mean.
And I also wanted to talk about him and his children. He's actually a really good father, and he's a really good dad. I met David Rubel before. We literally met because he fixed my cyber shield in person, and I saw his kids and his brother, and I mean there was some things going around about him, but he's a really good dad. His kids are really happy and healthy, and I don't know. I'm a social worker. I can spot abuse in an instant, and no, nothing there.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we are not defined by one thing that happened 20 years ago. And David is very smart, and that's what these perps do, is attack someone, and they know they're targeting, and they get them set up, and he was, for whatever purpose, they have this issue that's gone around. But I can honestly say, I trust David with my life 100%. And I can't say that about even my own husband, because you know, he doesn't believe that this is happening. So how can I tell him? But David knows what is happening, and I rely on him with my life. And if anything ever happened to David, I would just be devastated. And we need smart people. I want to say we need smart people like you, Daniel, and like Blue Sky, and people who are working with David. We need someone, a TI that knows the code, the type of code that David uses, but because that would really help David a lot. I'm laughing because DJ Chris and my antidepressants make it better.
That my antidepressants do make it better, and I believe David uses Raspberry Pi as the source for it. Of course, that's very sturdy, and it's a very incredible operating system. So.
Yeah. He also he has a lot of training, so that's good. And I mean, I worked on a lot of things with him as well. I made the quad heterodyne mode, which just means heterodyne is when two signals clash. They kind of create this beat frequency, and that's so if you have like a frequency that's 10,000 and another frequency that's 10,050, it'll create a 50 hertz heterodyne, and the brain, you know, responds to that stuff. So it has to be timed perfectly, which is, believe it or not, something the Raspberry Pi can do. I mean, he's very specific. It has to be the Raspberry Pi 4. It has to have like a specific, you know, way of, like it has an operating system that works for it. But yeah, it's definitely, you know, very effective. I mean, it's so effective that I think a lot of people who use it can't go without it after a while. It's I know people who are like that. It's just something that we need. Other people aren't like that. It depends. I find that the people who, you know, depending on the symptoms, some people need it more than others. But it's very, very effective, and it definitely changes you so you can go out and be more effective outside. It improves emotional regulation, and even Robert Duncan, he tested it on people, and he found that it actually does make a difference even during a blind study with TIs. I forgot what he did, but he found a low correlation in a small amount of time, which is pretty huge because the cyber shield has been for a long time. So it might have been just 30 minutes, but he found a difference, and that's huge because this is always on. And, you know, what I was saying about earlier about any sort of change in the side of your brain changing, that means that over time your brain will change gradually. And that's huge because we don't have a lot of that here. So,
if you could get Dr. Duncan to come on again, he was here before, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I will definitely work on that, DJ Chris.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
He needs to come in on the call because if you want to, I don't know if you find this an appropriate moment, but he has the Cyber Shield listed on his website.
Yes, higherorderthinkers.com if you're interested right now in purchasing the Cyber Shield.
And I can't post anything on the chat, so if you want to post that, DJ Chris, I'm not able to do it. I don't know what the heck. I've never had this issue. That doesn't mean that it's a weird issue. It's just that I just can't do anything. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'll try and email him too and see if he responds. I think he's been going through a lot recently. I don't know though.
Well, he has. I know for a fact that Robert Duncan has that seasonal mood disorder. I have it also, and by that means that we get kind of low. We feel the blues in the winter. We feel winter blues.
And when you're in California, it's worse.
Why is that? Why is it worse here?
Because of the position of where we're at on the Earth, I think.
I don't know. I don't know how it works, but yeah. I just think Jax had a wonderful idea about what to do to... I mean, someone told her a wonderful idea recently about light box therapy, right?
Yeah, light box therapy, DJ Chris. I just spoke with my physician about it, and I told her that I had hired someone. I'm actually hiring Daniel, the guy who's on this call with me. He's a therapist, and I'm going to work with him after I get a couple other things squared out in my life so I can get some therapy for this seasonal mood disorder. But she told me to buy a light box therapy unit, and they're about $40. It's called light box therapy, and it gives you the kind of daylight. It's not bad light. It's light that you get like the sun, and makes you feel up higher, not feel down. Because I have that really bad. I mean, I'm not depressed or suicidal, but I can tell you why I think I have it. And I think I have it because 3 years ago, I put these thick Lowe's home type, Lowe's home decor place. I went in there and purchased these real thick, about 4 foot high shielding. It's like for noise, and these huge bags, and you're supposed to stuff it in the walls. And I just stuck the whole bag up against my windows because the perps next door play recordings of planes and birds and trains inside my house and motor cars, and they'll play it in here in my office. And so I put that up, and so guess what? It blocks all the sunlight in my bedroom and my office, which is where I'm at the most of the day. I don't get any sunlight. So this is why I think it started happening. So I'm going to get that light box therapy, and it's only $40 a unit. So
yeah, I just want to bring that up because, and just to get back to the topic of the Cyber Shield, I've tried probably every mainstream treatment, and the Cyber Shield works. It's one of the few that works, and I highly recommend it for that reason too. I mean, I tried RTMS on the DLPFC, and then I also tried the Cyber Shield, and Cyber Shield probably wins, believe it or not, guys, by far. That doesn't mean that RTMS doesn't work. It just, I think MERT therapy can work for some people, but the Cyber Shield is a little bit more of probably in my opinion, a little bit more effective in some ways because of it's like it's always there. It's around you. It travels. You don't have to be sitting down, and it's constant. So, it's literally like it turns your house into a safe haven. It's like literally having a safe place. I mean, so it's very effective in that way. And yeah, I mean, both me and Jax can definitely relate to that. And other people, like I know some of the TIs who are going through stuff, and I even heard them say things about like needing to be home or wanting to get home to the Shield after a certain amount of time, it definitely helps with like, in my opinion, it can even help with like voices. I mean, V2K, whatever you want to call it. And it can really improve your life. And obviously, it helps you sustain yourself. I mean, I think that it's a lot. It's like money, but it's not expensive when you consider how much it can help you make. I mean, I remember I went to my job, and after 2 weeks without the Cyber Shield, I was already having severe symptoms, I brought the Cyber Shield, and I was able to continue working in that job for 10 more months, and then I took the test, and I got a new job. So without it, I wouldn't be able to work, and I know that everyone who's involved in this is aware of the Cyber Shield impacting me and improving my ability to work. And I think that's why I have 3 Cyber Shields, because, I was telling this to, I mentioned this to my dear guest Jax, that, the work they're doing is kind of like a train, who's ever on the opposite end of this. And it doesn't really care what you're using to block it, it just keeps going. If you have a shield, it'll just keep driving forward slower. It doesn't really care. It's like whatever. But if you don't have a shield, it'll just go faster. So it's worth having a shield, because what we're dealing with doesn't really care about obstacles. It just, again, will keep going. So, if you get something to protect yourself, it won't affect the target. Like, they won't stop targeting you. But if you slow it down, they're not going to break the Cyber Shield. In my opinion, it's just it lets it stay there. And if we get better at it, hopefully it'll stop the train enough that we can live our lives. And that's, Jax, you can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. I hope someday, where we get the technology, and the only way we're going to have it is for people to be working together.
Yeah, and it's useful, and I myself and Blue Sky, Dave and Blue Sky really, we're there to try and make it better, and hopefully we'll make it better. But yeah, I also want to bring up, I do have something that I created as well that's really useful. I'm a licensed social worker, and Jax is going to be, I have something I created for certain symptoms. It's this video-based therapy that I made that I'm also able to share with you guys if you want to be counseled by me. I created it, and it can help with symptoms of targeting as well, and I've gotten some really cool results. I worked with one person in West Virginia, and it was good. Their vision came back, believe it or not. They couldn't see very well, and they watched my videos and their vision came back, so that was kind of
wow. Cool. Really? That's great.
Yeah.
So they had trouble seeing, and they watched your focus videos, and it helped?
I believe so, yeah. I don't know how long it stayed for, because targeting is a monster. It really keeps going, but at least for a few weeks, their vision definitely, it improved. Yeah, it definitely worked. So, yeah, it's very useful. So yeah, it helps. And she also was a Cyber Shield owner, by the way. So, yeah, I'll actually talk more about that, and hopefully another time. But yeah. Other than that, it's useful. It's worth the money. The distance makes it amazing. It also does, again, protect you. And it's rare. There's not many good things about being, knowing you're a TI, because but I actually even heard of a prime minister once who got it. And just to show you how, this is pretty insane, but I talked to Dr. Beatrice Golem in California, and she's, pretty well known for this stuff. And she's testified all across the world about, cell phones and stuff and how dangerous they are. And, she brings up this prime minister from Norway, and she was literally a prime minister, and she still got attacked by a microwave oven, and literally, she was no longer able to practice politics. And you would think, how would they be able to do that? But they did that. Her kids literally came out of completely ignored her after that, and also ran for office. And she just kind of got thrown into she literally was no longer part of the picture after that. So, it affects even prime ministers. So we're talking about serious technology here. They go after probably everyone in the world. So, the fact that the Cyber Shield protects people, I'm sure this lady who's, I mean that microwave attack. You would think that it's like just the microwave, but in order for it to, a lot of this stuff requires constant signal. So you know, even though like it started with a microwave oven, she probably still had a signal for a while, and it didn't. She was a prime minister, and they still were able to do it. So the cyber shield is like unique in that even if she had it, she'd probably benefit. So it's you know, it definitely is. I think it's very very glad we have it, honestly.
Yeah, by the way, DJ Chris, I have gallery view selected, and you're the only person I can see. Something happened. I feel like I should leave and come back.
I think we're in, it's because we're in Q&A mode and not in regular mode.
Oh.
That's probably why, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll let you handle that, whatever.
Yeah, we'll be switching modes in 15 minutes.
But yeah, I mean, a few more things about the Cyber Shield is, I mean, it definitely is powerful. It has a lot of frequencies. It goes between about 30 megahertz and 4.4 gigahertz. So it's definitely powerful. You can use those. You can change signals. You can like talk to me or Dave about, you know, I mean, how to use it if you want once you buy it. And you know, there's other things as well that come with it. I mean, you know, we do upgrade it occasionally to have, you know, new things. Right now we're kind of like waiting for some new ideas, because believe it or not, it's kind of, we can actually, I found myself that, I mean, there's a lot of things out there in the current like scholarly research that you can use with the Cyber Shield. So, you know, it's very useful. Like the DLPFC mode that I made when I first got there with Dave, that you can find, if you buy it, you'll find it. You know, that was actually based on current research, and I really think it's, you know, it's a good mode. Then I also created the quad heterodyne mode that, I mean, you know, I think definitely my fellow guest uses, and the reason why it's so effective is that it actually sends out, it tries to create a firewall, and as hopefully, you know, there's obviously like, you know, progress in our field, RN too, and, you know, eventually we should be able to hopefully make like an actual real, like a super shield that'll be able to really, you know, stop that, you know, locomotion. But yeah, we're working on it. And, I mean, yeah. So, but you know, that's a pretty good overview of it. And I just want to again add that, you know, I did meet the creator, and he is really good with his kids. And I know there were some things going on about him, and I'm sure some of you have heard, but in my opinion, it's all kind of like he's pretty. I mean, it definitely seems, well, it definitely is fabricated. You know, it is in the community, and you know, I hope that, I mean, like he's like been coding since he was 13 years old, so he has about 29 years of experience. I myself have at most a few years of experience, you know, playing around with like computers and code, but I have way more years with neurology and psychology. I have now been studying it for a good 12, 13 years, pretty much constantly, so I probably have read like at least 20, 30,000 scholarly papers on the brain. So I'm totally like, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think, you know, I was able to like, I'm here, and I think that's why I was able to like obviously create whatever I was able to create. And Jack, I mean, I'm sure you benefit from the mode that I created, right?
Yes. Yeah, I use quad heterodyne every day. That I use that module a lot, and I use the low EMF more too lately when I'm on low primaries. If I select low numbers, I use low EMF. If I high numbers, I like to use quad heterodyne.
Yeah, and we're gonna hopefully make a new mode soon. I have an idea for a different mode. I'm just waiting for things to kick up again once the flame of this stuff starts again. But yeah, and I also just wanted a little bit talk about like this. I mean, it's can really improve your. It helps with a lot of things, and I find that I'm able to pray easier with the Cyber Shield, be more grateful, obviously, and I have a better mindset. So it definitely helps you like feel a little more, I don't know, like alive. I mean, I think that I was pretty depressed when I was going through this in the beginning, and I had trouble praying. But I think the Cyber Shield like woke me up to be able to obviously focus again. And even on my, I got a brain scan recently, and things were looking pretty crazy. But the one thing that I was surprised by was the front of my brain was actually kind of improved. So I had 2 brain scans, and at least the front of my brain seemed to be, a little bit more operational. So that was a really positive sign. I think, obviously, I know by how I feel that what's creating the feeling is obviously in the environment. And, the Cyber Shield, I'm guessing, literally created an impact on my ability to focus, literally. That's one of the things, like, there's David will recommend things like watching TV and focusing, and it definitely helps. You just got to do it. And Jax, do you want to, there's things you've done with the Cyber Shield that have helped you, right?
Yeah. I've done a lot of little things to get me out of a bad situation. But one of the things David told me when I got the Cyber Shield, because I was the new purchaser. I was the only person in the United States at the time that had purchased the Cyber Shield from David. And so I had him at my beck and call. Really, I would just call him up and, hey, David, I'm looking out my window and my next door neighbors. Every time I open my window, they're outside and blah, blah, blah. And I kept telling David, and David got serious with me, and he told me, if you really want to get free from this, you're going to have to stop paying attention to all of your perps. And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah, you have to ignore everything they do, everything. And, well, it worked. I started listening to what David said, and it changed my world. I was able to start really pairing up with the Cyber Shield. I started reading Robert Duncan's books, learning about scripts. We are all on scripts. That's why we have such strong convictions about, it's a plane, it's a helicopters, it's drones, it's neighbors, it's this, it's that. It's all convictions that the perps want us to believe. And we have to ignore it all. We have to ignore the whole thing.
Yeah. You'll get better if you find some way to like change yourself, and it's like, like believing, being grateful, like, and I'll give an example. Like, I'm grateful for the fact that I'm on this call with DJ Chris and Jax, and grateful for the fact that I'm like able to, obviously eat food and still be healthy and still be productive, and I'm grateful for the fact that I'm actually able to obviously like own a Cyber Shield. Like, you really want to like get in the practice of saying gratitudes. Obviously anything that somehow makes you like feel better is probably a good idea. So I know it's hard as hell depending on your situation. I'm very lucky to have a Cyber Shield, and I know what it was like without it. So even like no matter what, you want to try and do something to keep you on your feet. And I guess, that's important because they literally, they're like very, again, that train is like really nonstop. It just doesn't really care about who's on it. It just, Prime Minister or whatever, rip through them. So, you really want to, at least be grateful for your ride, in some way.
Well, I'm very grateful too, to have it and to be able to get help, because I have not been able to get help. I was pretty bad off. So I would have done pretty much whatever it took to get it at the time. So I'm glad that, it's improved, since I first got it. I'm live in the battlefield, and I used to get something called the Frey effect, Frey. And it's a horrible sensation of vibration in your entire body. It's just in your core, your legs, your feet, your head, and it's this miniature feeling of vibration. And for me, my scalp starts to sweat. It feels really sweaty. And I have to, my hair gets oily real fast and I have to wash it. And it's because of that fray effect. And with the Cyber Shield, I'm able to eliminate it right on the spot. I know exactly what to do, what settings, and I use quad heterodyne on high, and it helps get rid of it. Because it's a...
Yeah, and I also add that, you know, there's a lot of strategies to approach this to try and, like, get out of it. I mean, you can try and, like, you know, fight your way out, but as far as I know, no one has, like, done that yet successfully besides, like, in my opinion, Cyber Shield owners are one of the few that actually have a sort of way to heal. I just don't think that I've ever seen a weakness besides, like, the Cyber Shield or, like, a few of the other technologies. And, yeah, no, I really highly recommend it because, I mean, normally there's, in, like, any situation, there's obviously weaknesses, like, but because of the way this is and how complex it is and how high it goes, so for us at kind of like at this stage, you know, I really think that the Cyber Shield is a great tool because I've only heard of maybe like 2 to 3 TIs, thanks to Blue Sky being successful over the last, unfortunately, probably 20 years. And there's ever than that, there's pretty much no one. And, you know, I think the Cyber Shield, however, I think everyone who gets it has some success treating their symptoms. The thing is, you know, I'm a big believer in not being scared to, you know, trust other people's experiences. But, yeah, you definitely want to, I think you definitely want to use it. It can, like, definitely, it's probably one of the most protective things I've ever seen. And, you know, I think you probably want to use it if you're desperate and you have the money. I mean, I think this community needs to kind of try a different approach, and I'm a big believer in kind of like, you know, different things. And this is very valuable for us to have, and I think it's a way of improving the value of the TI community because it allows us to be like our own little, like, have our own technology, which is very valuable in its own way because eventually it might be worth something. And if it's worth enough, you know, maybe we'll have like a way out, you know? You never know.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we have 3 minutes left until it's question and answer time from the audience. So, and apparently the chat room's all excited. You got a couple of naysayers and a couple of believers. And
that's okay. Yeah, well, naysayers are welcome.
Yes, because that's what this is about. This is a technological, it's a technological discussion. We're sharing that. So if they have questions or just anything, they can bring it up, of course, in 3 minutes.
Well, I just want to say to the naysayers that I actually have something called a nano, and it shows the signal traveling through the air. And believe it or not, everything we're doing is based on research. So it's literally impossible that unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, it's literally impossible that it's not doing anything. You can actually see the signal in the air, and it actually causes a reaction. So unfortunately, to the naysayers, it's scientifically valid, meaning there's really, I mean, if I was in a room with you and I turned it on, there is no way it wouldn't cause a signal change in your body. So, and I mean, I could literally like make you, I mean, it can literally change your mood. So it's pretty powerful, and I think it's undeniable, meaning it's like, you know, your symptoms are undeniable. The Cyber Shield is also not able to be like, really, you can't really fight it. I mean, imagine that train and you have a blockade, it's going to work. The Cyber Shield is kind of like that. It's worked for pretty much, most of the people who tried it, it's worked for. So it also, it's like has evidence behind it. So, you know, imagine you're in front of a train and you believe it's not there, it's going to hit you. So, you know, you can't really stop a train. And the Cyber Shield is like a bike, but it's better than nothing. And, you know, you can get away from a train with a bike. So, you know, it really can't be denied. I mean, I'll talk to anyone about it, but I promise you, I doubt you're going to be able to get around my bike. So, anyway.
I understand. Well, it's time for that moment where we switch to Q&A mode and do the discussion with our audience. So, if you don't mind, we'll switch right now. Yes, and both Daniel and Jax, you'll have to unmute yourselves to come on. And can you see yourself now, Jax?
Yep. Hello, myself.
There you are. Okay. Yeah, we were in when we're in that mode. But you don't want to be interrupted, do you?
No.
Daniel, did you star 6 to get on?
Daniel?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. Okay. Does anyone? I don't have any questions. I asked all of them earlier today, and so I'm good to go. But does anybody have a question for Dr. Daniel? And you can be honest. You have doubts. This is the time to bring it up.
Yeah, I have a question.
I have a couple of questions.
The lady first, please.
Hi. Okay, thank you. So Daniel, so not to get personal, but is there anybody else in your environment, and is it helping that person as well? In other words, how many square feet does this cover?
Well, I would say it's about like square feet. I mean, like an apartment, it would be like 500 easily. I mean, it's square feet, but feet, it's like 20. Square feet, it's like 500. I mean, you're talking a small apartment. And yeah, it helps TIs specifically, though, because normal people don't have this going on in their head. But no, it definitely helps them, yeah.
So if there were two people living in a 500 square foot apartment that were also, and both people were being hurt, this would help both people. This would help protect both people. And maybe a dog too.
I mean, if you're behind metal walls, you got to remember that metal absorbs that signal. So, but yeah, anything that's metal absorbs RF. So, yeah.
And I'm sorry, you were dropping off here and there, and if you could just please just talk a little slower. Sometimes on these conference calls, it's hard to understand people. But thank you for your call because this information is very helpful. But so now I just lost my question. So oh gosh. So you were talking about. So is David's company? So were you talking about two separate companies when you're talking about David and another company called, what was it, Blue something?
Oh no, Blue Sky is a person. That's a person.
Blue Sky is a person.
Yeah, his name is. He's only. Well, I won't say his real name, but yeah. Jack, can I say his real name?
Yeah, don't say his name. Don't say his name because he doesn't ever reveal his name because
we have to.
I don't mean his full name. I just mean. I'll just say Blue Sky. I don't. Yeah. I would never say his full name, but you know what I mean. Yeah, no. Blue Sky is the builder of the Cyber Shield. It's not a separate company. He's an employee of Dave Rubel.
Well, how do you buy one then?
And so when these, if someone had one of these and it needed repair, how does all that work? And Daniel, may I ask if you're on the East Coast or on the West Coast?
Yeah, let me talk about their repairs. So Blue Sky will repair it, and he repairs it. He can repair it pretty effectively. I mean, it has 9 amplifiers and 9 transmitters, and you can test it on your own. I can walk you through it, or Blue Sky or Dave Rubel can walk you through it. And it'll tell you what's wrong with it and what he needs to repair based on how it looks. And yeah, he can repair it and send it back like 3-4 days.
So you have to send it. So you have to send it out to California.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have to go to the next question to fill in.
Yeah,
Does that help you?
When you order the Cyber Shield, how long does it take to get it?
Depending on the amount of customers, it can take between I think a month is pretty safe to say.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
It takes a month. Unless they have an extra where they made one and somebody changed their mind. Every now and then that happens.
Well, the only qualm I have about it is learning how to adjust it. I feel like a high-tech, not so smart.
I'm not. I work in high-tech, but I am not high-tech, and I get it. But we have a group where it's a Telegram group where certain people who are able to communicate well and want to be on the group, we invite people to get on that group, and we talk about updates, technology. We help newbies get on and we show you things and we talk to you. We're very, the Cyber Shield owners are very interactive with each other. We care about you
I would definitely need a lot of help. I mean, I talked to David on a number of occasions with my questions, and I would have to ask him how to adjust it, and I guess I would do that by telling him my symptoms. I have very gruesome symptoms.
Yeah, we all do. We all do, and I can tell you that once you get it, you cannot break it by pressing the modules and primaries. You will learn, we even tell you, press the primaries, press the modules, wait 5 minutes and see how you feel, because you will notice changes when you do things, and you'll learn it. It's like a thermostat. When you turn it up, you kind of feel it start getting warm. That's the same thing with the Cyber Shield.
Thank you for your question. We need to move on to the next question in line. Next person in line for the Cyber Shield demonstration question.
Yeah, I just have a question about, when we get hit with these microwave, I believe we have something called the piezoelectric effect, which it causes these currents in our body, that you'll be shaking or you feel these currents. Now, what does this thing do to help?
I'll take
piezoelectricity.
Daniel, you take that one.
Okay, so well, pretty much it changes the way it causes a frequency to kind of like, it pretty much protects all your nerves. So, I mean, your body and your brain both respond to frequencies. So it sends a frequency, and your cells in your body can only do so much at once. So, I mean, it pretty much just makes it so your cells can't feel bad, your neurons and everything. So it's like, it just kind of like keeps them active so they can't be hurt. Kind of like it's like, if you have a train and another train and you board one train, the other train you can't really get on the other train. Your cells are kind of like that, so it keeps you from crashing.
Yeah, and that vibration that you're talking about, sir, a lot of that, when you plug in your Cyber Shield, you'll be surprised at what happens. The perps hate it when we get these things because it minimizes what they can do. They definitely are relegated to the back seat of the bus when we get the Cyber Shield.
Yeah, it's the brain is a little more complicated than you would think, but it's also a little bit like simpler than you would think in some ways. Not really, but a lot of stuff is in your brain. So it changes your brain, which is healthy and good for you. And again, like it changes your brain over time, so you'll feel less pain, and you won't. It helps a lot. Like I myself notice I feel better, obviously, with it, which is probably why I own the most of them. So yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, come on in. We're running out of time though, so please, if you can make it quick, thank you.
Okay, maybe you guys might have answered this, but I've been trying to multitask during the call, so if you could maybe just reiterate. I'm more than down to try this. I have multiple symptoms, and it's killing me very quickly. I'll pay whatever price. Where do I go to buy one of these? I will do it.
HigherOrderThinkers.com.
Okay, and you just go to that website and you can purchase, you can order
on
the same day?
Look at it. You'll need to get a UPS, but we'll talk to you when you get it. That's Robert Duncan. He will tell you if you order it, you just go to PayPal. But you can also call me or David Rubel. I don't know if Daniel wants to be called to talk to people.
What number?
I mean, why don't you, Jax? You're so much better at that than me. I just have my regular job, so.
Okay, yeah, you have to work on that job. I actually have a job too, but I can talk to people sometimes because of my liberty at my job. But if you want to take my phone number, 530-364-7592.
Okay, and what was your name again?
Jax, Jax.
Jax. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I'll be in contact, I promise.
Yeah, well, I urge you to ask questions first. But, yeah, go to, I can tell you where to go, and it's on Robert Duncan's website, HigherOrderThinkers.com. You can look there.
Okay, all right. I'll do that tonight.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck with that.
Or should I just do it right now?
Wait till the call's over, and I can call you, talk to you.
Okay. Thank
All right.
Thank you. Any more questions as we end this session and switch to our TI Book Club? I think we're done. Okay. Thank you, Jax. Thank you, Daniel. If anybody has any questions, they'll still be here for a few more minutes after the recording. So I don't think they're both going to run away. So you may be able to get another question in.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Yeah, you'll be hanging around after the recording, and we want to talk about this week's book. This one just came out in January 2024, and this is the TI Book Club with DJ Chris. And I want to tell you more about the book and tell you all the details in just a moment.
It's time for the TI Book Club, where every book opens a door to new worlds and shared journeys. Here, we uncover hidden gems, specially selected for TIs, and always within your reach. Be part of a community that reads together, grows together, and sees the world through the same lens. Don't just listen to stories, live them with us. Join now at bookclubs.com/TIBookClub/join, and let's turn the pages of adventure together.
Thank you, Mr. Announcer. This week's book is called Transhuman: Genocide, the Enemy at the Gate, the Ultimate Guide to Shielding Directed Energy Weapons, and it's about AI, too. And it's by an author named Ron Johnson. We just started reading the book this month, and 2 others are reading it, too. It's very interesting. It goes into a lot of different details about targeting that I thought was quite interesting, and I've read the Location 200, so I'll be reading more of it. And we'll see what else. The recording of this is on YouTube, Spotify, BitChute, and Archive. And if you are watching this on your preferred platform, please like and subscribe and write a note and let us know what you think about the Cyber Shield. I'll read the comments and the calls afterwards and let Jax know. And we'll make sure to put the website for Robert Duncan in the show notes. So thank you for watching. This is DJ Chris, and we're going to turn the recording off now, and let's switch to open mic.